I'll remember this moment. Today's the first day of the rest of my vegan life. I'll remember this feeling. I'll remember this love. Today's the first day of the rest of my vegan life. From this day forward, I will always be proud to be vegan, and I will declare it out loud. I'm here to save you. I'm here to save you, little lambs, chickens, turkeys, fish, pigs, and cows too. I'm here because that vegan teacher helped me to see beyond myself, deep into the eyes and heart of someone else.
Hello students, welcome to class.
Drink soy milk, oat milk, rice milk, almond milk. Don't steal milk from a cow. Be vegan, start right now. Follow that vegan teacher, she will show you how.
Today we're going to be looking at this channel, which is called Matt Walsh. Now I haven't seen yet what we're about to look at, so I thought, you know what, I'll just come here and watch it with you guys. Now Matt Walsh is somebody who I agree with on certain issues, and I also disagree with. He is, for example, an animal abuser. He pays people in the meat, dairy, and egg industries to rape, torture, confine, kidnap, and murder innocent animals who've never done a single thing wrong to him ever. Although Matt Walsh makes sense in a lot of issues, in other areas he is really behind. In fact, his mentality is that of a Neanderthal. He doesn't really understand yet that animals are sentient beings, and that like children, animals need our protection. We have no right to force animals to be pregnant. We must look out for them. We must not betray them. We have no right to steal anything from them. We have no right to touch them inappropriately. Animals feel pain. They don't want to die. Animals want to live. They are here with us on the planet, not for us. So we have no right to put them behind bars. We have no right to be cruel to them. We have no right to abuse them. They have committed no crimes. They do not deserve to be in jail. They do not deserve to be in hell. Matt Walsh created a documentary called What is a Woman? And apparently people are going crazy about this documentary because nobody wants to really say what a woman is, because, you know, there's now some transgender people in the Olympics, and everybody is just up in arms with what's going on in the school systems, what we're teaching kids. And Matt is one of these people who thinks that the trans community has gone overboard. He doesn't think that kids should have a right to change their genitalia. He doesn't think that doctors should be able to cut penises off little boys, and so on. And so he's kind of on a mission to raise awareness about that. So anyway, let's have a look at what Matt has to say here and what's going on.
Well, you know, we talked to a lot of people for my film, What is a Woman, which is streaming now exclusively on the Daily Wire. And you go to whatisawoman.com and get signed up, and you can watch the film right now. Many of the conversations we had were unintentionally hilarious. Many were disturbing. Veering significantly over to the disturbing end of the spectrum is my interview with Dr. Michelle Forcier, who is, as you'll hear her proudly identify herself, a gender-affirming pediatrician, also an abortionist. We flew up to Providence, Rhode Island to speak with Dr. Forcier. She was, friendly enough at first. And what we found in many of the interviews that you'll see in What is a Woman is that gender ideologues are very polite and nice right up until the moment when you express any skepticism at all.
Ooh, this sounds familiar actually, Matt. Your colleague, the uneducated Candace Owens, like many commentators over at the Daily Wire who are sponsored by the meat industry, was also unable to accept the truth about the rape, torture, and murder that she brings into her home. Sadly, when confronted, she made jokes about the steak she was eating as if this was an object instead of a sentient being who didn't want to die just for her taste pleasure. Unfortunately, many of the people over at the Daily Wire are actually weak people, mentally and emotionally weak. Even though they try to act tough, they don't really understand that traditional values are those of kindness and compassion for others. It's the position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics that appropriately planned vegetarian, including vegan diets are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits in the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. These diets are appropriate for all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, infancy, childhood, adolescence, older adulthood, and for athletes. Plant-based diets are more environmentally sustainable than diets rich in animal products because they use fewer resources and are associated with much less environmental damage.
Plants have protein, they really, really do. Being vegan is healthy, you know it's true. Plants have protein, they really, really do. So why the fuck aren't you vegan yet? No more excuses for you.
And that's why all of you over at the Daily Wire should be vegan from now on. Be morally consistent. Be as open as you say you are. Anyway, let's get on with what's going on with Matt here. Let's see what he has to say.
But before we get to that point, where things really start to sort of fall apart, let's get to know Michelle a little bit. Watch.
Okay.
My name is Michelle Forcier, and I have a medical degree from University of Connecticut, residency, University of Utah Pediatrics, and I've worked for a number of different Planned Parenthoods for 20 years. I do advanced contraception and abortion, as well as gender hormones, and sort of looking at the whole sort of schema of gender, sex, and reproductive justice.
So you've done a lot of work in this field. Could you just start by telling us?
Sure.
At what age can a child first begin to transition into another gender or identify themselves as a gender different from how they were born?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's research and data that show that babies and infants understand differences in gender. Some children figure out their gender really early, and the reason why we say, oh, it's interesting or important is because they're figuring out their gender identity is not necessarily congruent with their sex assigned at birth.
When the doctor sees the penis and says, this is a male, has the sex of male, that's an arbitrary distinction?
Telling that family, based on that little penis, that your child is absolutely 100% male identified, no matter what else occurs in their life, that's not correct.
Wait, what? Okay, I sort of understand what you're saying, but what are you saying now is that when a baby is born and the physician is holding the baby in his or her hands, the physician says, "Congratulations, it's a..." Can't say girl. Can't say boy. It's a they.
So what does gender affirmation care? You're a big proponent of. If we walk through, a child is sitting down with you, is questioning their gender. What's the gender affirmation process?
Affirmation means that as a pediatrician, as someone who says my job is to provide the best medical care for you, is I need to listen really carefully. And how I put it in words for kids so that they can understand it is, tell me your story. Where have you been in terms of your gender and your gender identity? Where are you right now? And more excitingly, where would you like to be in the future?
Have you ever met a 4-year-old who believes in Santa Claus?
Mm-hmm.
So this is someone who believes that a fat man is traveling through the sky on a flying reindeer at lightning speed, coming down his chimney with presents.
Yeah.
Like you, Matt, right? You're a religious guy. You believe in fairy tales and magic, right?
Would you say that this is someone who maybe has a tenuous grasp on reality?
They have an appropriate 4-year-old handle on the
Sure.
reality
Agreed.
that's very real for them.
Agreed. But Santa Claus is real for them, but
Yeah.
Santa Claus is not actually real.
Yeah, well, but Santa Claus does deliver their Christmas presents.
Well, yeah, but he's not real, though.
To that child, they are.
They? Santa is now they? Okay. Come on, guys.
When I see a child who, believes in Santa Claus, and then let's say this is a boy and he says, I'm a girl. This is someone who can't distinguish between fantasy and reality, so how could you take that as a reality?
I would say that as a pediatrician and as a parent, I would say how wonderful my 4-year-old and their imagination is.
You know, one of the hardest things as we did
Okay.
this film, especially in interviewing somebody like that, is not, like, my instinct is just to yell at them to begin with. But that's
It's kind of like how animal rights activists feel when we talk to you guys. We just want to yell at you because you are so thick-headed, refuse to educate yourselves, just kind of like how you feel talking to her. See? See what I'm saying?
not what it's kind of a short film if it's just me going around yelling at people. The objective here is to ask questions, and that's all we did through the whole film. Is just
That's fine.
Ask questions. And let gender ideology essentially hang itself is the idea, and to show, is this something that can withstand scrutiny or not, even just basic scrutiny. And what we discovered is that it can't. So what's happening in that exchange is, first of all, she says, talking about a child who sits down with her, is she wants to know about their gender journey and where would you like to be in the future? So she's talking about a child's like 5-year gender plan. But the point I was trying to get across to her is that children don't have a grasp on reality. I mean, even if in theory people could choose their own gender, which they can't, but if they could, it wouldn't make sense to say that a child could choose it.
I have to agree with you there, Matt.
Children believe in Santa Claus. So like, what do they know about reality? If a child is 4 years old and believes that not only Santa Claus is real, but that fairies and dragons, lives appropriately in this kind of...
Like people who believe in the Bible, right? Isn't that what you guys, you religious radicals, believe? No? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're not like them, Matt.
fantasy world, and then the boy says that I'm a girl, that claim exists within the same fantasy world. This is just imagination. This is a kid who just doesn't understand the distinction between fantasy and reality. So how can they make these determinations? But then again, as we found there, Michelle wouldn't even affirm that Santa doesn't exist. So
Come on, Matt. I don't think that's really what she's saying there. She's saying that from the child's perspective, the child cannot differentiate. I don't think it's fair to say that she herself can't. At least not about Santa. At least that's my take on it. What about you guys at home? What do you guys think? What do you think so far? Does any of this seem crazy to you? Who seems normal? Anybody seem normal to you? What do you guys think about this discussion? Write it down in the comments below. Let me know. I'm curious.
I was unclear about that also. Like, do you actually think that Santa exists? What's
she
happening?
doesn't.
It's as you're talking to these people, it's like you feel yourself going slightly insane. So it was a pretty bewildering exchange.
That's how we feel when we talk to you guys and try to encourage you to watch the important documentaries like Dominion, because you guys refuse to do so. Like you guys who are climate change deniers. Like we feel like we're talking to a brick wall. So hopefully you understand how we feel now, Matt. That's why I want you to go and look at it. Go and watch the documentary called Dominion, or another one is called Earthlings. That's another one you can watch. And another one is called don'twatch.org. That one is only 7 minutes long. Watch that.
What's in your body? Why are you eating meat when you can choose compassion with every bite you eat? Do you want your body to be a garden, or do you want it to be a morgue? If you're brave enough to learn the truth, go to don'twatch.org. Do you want your body to be a garden, or do you want it to be a morgue? If you're brave enough to learn the truth, go to don'twatch.org. If aliens came to Earth and really wanted to eat you, would you say, no problem, and let them take a bite out of your mom and dad too? If you wouldn't want aliens to hurt you, then leave the animals alone. Don't eat them, don't wear them, don't use them, or take over their home. Leave the animals the fuck alone.
Well, how do you guys feel? Do you want to keep watching some more of this? I'm a little bit curious, so I think I'm going to keep watching. You guys who've had enough, you can go. Have a break. Go make a delicious vegan dessert if you want to, but I'm just going to stay. Probably not that much longer, but let's see what happens.
Then what does?
It's a constellation.
in reality, in truth, okay?
Whose truth are we talking about?
The same truth that says we're sitting in this room right now, you and I.
No.
Oh no, not this again. My truth, your truth, the truth. I mean, people can have different opinions about things, and people can argue about things like, you know, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream or something like that. But when it comes to facts, facts are facts. Gravity exists, and, you know, the earth is round. Climate change is real. These are facts. Anyway, let's keep watching.
You're not listening.
If I see a chicken laying eggs and I say that's a female chicken.
Oh, he mentions a chicken. Do you think he's going to be kind? Is he going to say something vegan phobic or vegan fantastic? Is he going to make fun of the chicken? Let's listen.
Laying eggs, did I assign female, or am I just observing a physical reality that's happening in the world?
Does a chicken have gender identity? Does a chicken cry?
Well,
Does a chicken have gender identity? Well, we don't know. I doubt it, though, because humans are crazy. They make up stuff. They go crazy. They are basically having a lot of thinking problems. Chickens are just doing their thing. They're not the ones destroying the planet. They're not the ones trying to dress up in men's clothes or women's clothes. They're just doing their thing.
Does a chicken commit suicide?
I don't know. I have no idea if a chicken has ever committed suicide, but I can see how they would want to. If you've ever seen a factory farm, you would understand why. Especially those free-range chickens that are supposedly doing great. Well, that reminds me of when they take away cages and they say, well, these chickens are free. But meanwhile, thousands of them are trapped in an arena and they can barely move. I mean, they can move a bit, but they can't open their wings. They don't get to see the sky or feel the sun. It would be like picture 12 people in an elevator. Okay, you're all standing there and you all have your own cage. And then somebody comes out and says, you know what? We're going to make your life so much better. We're going to remove the cages and you're just still stuck in the elevator. But hey, now you can move around in the elevator. That's what it's like. So I don't know. I can totally imagine that chickens would want to commit suicide in that situation, because there is something worse than death, and that is the degree of suffering that we put animals through. So Matt, if you're listening to this, I hope you change. Don't buy eggs. Don't pay into the cycle of violence. Check out what happens. Go to egg-truth.com.
The egg industry is just a cycle of misery. They lie to you endlessly. Don't buy eggs, walk away. Go to egg-truth.com today.
Well, guys, we are only at the 6-minute mark, 6 minutes and 36 seconds of this video. I am still curious to watch it, but I don't think we're going to have time to watch the whole thing. So you guys let me know in the comments. Do you want me to continue watching this video to see what else Matt is saying and this fascinating doctor who performs these surgeries on these minors? I'm sort of curious, but you know, right now I got Bella here beside me who's asking me for her dinner. She also needs a walk. So I think I'm going to end this video here. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks for liking and subscribing. And don't forget to press the notification bell so we can all get these animals out of hell. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.
I'm always in the mood to save animals and eat delicious vegan food. I'm always in the mood to save animals and eat delicious vegan food.